the Cinema Shogun here, and I know that I have talked to you all time and time again about the threat that artificial intelligence poses to humanity. I know that we have talked about in length the threat that the war over in Ukraine poses to the rest of the world. We are on the brink of World War III. I've even talked about the threat of the inevitable invasion of Taiwan. But ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that none of that could prepare us for the real threat that we are facing today? All of these other threats seem like a walk in the park compared to the real threat that has finally showed its watery, porpoisey, white and black face. The real threat to humanity, ladies and gentlemen, is orcas. Yeah, you heard me right. Orcas. Killer whales. Those cute, cuddly sea creatures that you take your kids to SeaWorld to go watch them do little tricks. Well, guess what? They're turning on humans now. In fact, 2023 will go down in history, and it will be remembered as the year of the Great Orca Uprising. I kid you not, even though I am somewhat kidding here, scientists now say that orcas have purposely sunken 3 boats in Europe. And this story is wild, it's crazy, it's insane, and it's the exact type of thing that I like talking about on this channel. So let's go ahead and dig in, shall we? Orcas have sunk 3 boats in Europe and appear to be teaching others to do the same. But why? Scientists think a traumatized orca initiated the assault on boats after a critical moment of agony, and that the behavior is spreading among the population through social learning. Oh my God. Let's just stop right there. Let's just stop right there. There's only one man that could stop the Great Orca Rebellion, and that man is pictured in this photograph. If you can name this man and where this man came from, let me know down in the comments below. And while you're in the comments, go ahead and let me know your favorite sea creature, your favorite sea animal. I happen to love penguins. And if I'm not mistaken, killer whales eat penguins too, right? I hope not, but damn, man, that's kind of sad. Anyways, just listen to what they said. A traumatized orca must have initiated this attack against boats during a critical moment. And now all other orcas have learned from it, and they're attacking boats as well. This sounds insane. It sounds worse than Jaws. We got freaking General Shamu down here, the lead commander of the orca army. And he decided, okay, well, guess what? We're waging war on people now. We have coexisted with these whales for years. And now they've just decided, you know what? We're going to start attacking boats. All because we were inspired by our hero. Oh my. Let's go ahead and go further. Orcas have attacked and sunk a 3rd boat off the Liberian coast of Europe. And experts now believe the behavior is being copied by the rest of the population. 3 orcas, also known as killer whales, struck the yacht on the night of May 4th in the Strait of Gibraltar, off the coast of Spain, and pierced the rudder. There were 2 smaller and 1 larger orca, Skipper Werner Schwarzwaldberger told the German publication. The little ones shook the rotor at the back, while the big one repeatedly backed up and rammed the ship with full force from the side. Oh, man. I hadn't read this information in depth before I started making this video. All I saw was some of the headlines. What? You mean it is organized? I was joking at the beginning of this video. Hopefully you all know that. But then again, some people just take everything seriously. But anyway, I'm thinking we have these one-offs where orcas are, attacking boats or something like that. This sounds completely different. What do you mean? You had two orcas attacking your rudders while the big orca rammed your boat from the side? They've come together to take down these boats. What is going on? What in the hell is happening here? Do we have some type of military whales out here taking out boats? Is this what Russia has been up to? China, is that you? I know it's not America. The American military is too busy trying to figure out what pronouns they're going to use on the battlefield. I know they're not making killer whale armies. What is going on? If this is just, evolution, then we may have something to worry about here, ladies and gentlemen. Or better yet, these whales have something to worry about. Maybe this is all propaganda because they want to kill more whales. Like, what is really going on here? But I don't know. As of right now, I like humans. Humans are pretty cool sometimes. But orcas are kind of cool too. Who's to say that I can't strap a fin on my back and identify as an orca? I can, and I probably will if it comes to that. But let's go ahead and go further. Schwaffelberger, that's one hell of a name, Schwaffelberger, said he saw the smaller orcas imitate the larger one. The two little orcas observed the bigger one's technique, and with a slight run-up, they too slammed into the boat. Spanish Coast Guards rescued the crew and towed the boat to Barbate, but it sank at the port entrance. 2 days earlier, a pod of 6 orcas assailed another sailboat navigating the strait. Greg Blackburn, who was aboard the vessel, looked on as a mother orca appeared to teach her calf how to charge into the rudder. It was definitely some form of education teaching going on, Blackburn said. Reports of aggressive encounters with orcas off the Iberian coast began in May 2020 and are becoming more frequent, according to a study published June 2022 in the journal Marine Mammal Science. Assaults seem to be mainly directed at sailing boats and follow a clear pattern, with orcas approaching from the stern to strike the rudder, then losing interest once they have successfully stopped the boat. The reports of interactions have been continuous since 2020 in places where orcas are found, either in Galicia or in the Strait, said co-author Alfred Lopez Fernandez, a biologist at the University of Aveiro in Portugal and representative of the group Atlantic Orca Working Group. Most encounters have been harmless, Lopez says. In more than 500 interaction events recorded since 2020, there are 3 sunken ships. We estimate that killer whales only touch 1 ship out of every 100 that sail through a location. The spike in aggression towards boats is a recent phenomenon, Lopez says. Researchers think that a traumatic event may have triggered a change in the behavior of one orca, which the rest of the population has learned to imitate. The orcas are doing this on purpose, of course. The orcas are doing this on purpose, of course. We don't know the origin or the motivation, but defensive behavior based on trauma, as the origin of all of this gains more strength for us every day. Experts suspect that a female orca, they call White Gladys, suffered a critical moment of agony, a collision with a boat or entrapment during illegal fishing that flipped a behavioral switch. The traumatized orca is the one that started this behavior of physical contact with the boat. Orcas are social creatures that can easily learn and reproduce behaviors performed by others, according to the 2022 study. In the majority of reported cases, orcas have made a beeline for a boat's rudder and either bitten, bent, or broken it. We do not interpret that the orcas are teaching the young, although the behavior has spread to the young vertically simply by imitation, and later horizontally among them because they consider it something important in their lives. Orcas appear to perceive the behavior as advantageous, despite the risk they run by slamming into moving boat structures. Lopez Fernandez added, since the abnormal interactions began in 2020, 4 orcas belonging to a subpopulation living in Liberian waters have died, although their deaths cannot be directly linked to encounters with boats. The unusual behavior could also be playful, or what researchers call a fad, a behavior initiated by 1 or 2 individuals and temporarily picked up by others before it's abandoned. They are incredibly curious and playful animals, and so this might be more of a play thing as opposed to an aggressive thing. Deborah Giles, an orca researcher at the University of Washington and the nonprofit Wild Orca, says, as the number of incidents grows, there is increased concern both for sailors and for the orca population, which is listed as critically endangered. The last census in 2011 recorded just 39 Liberian orcas according to the 2022 study. If this situation continues or intensifies, it could become a real concern for the orca safety and a conservation issue for the endangered subpopulation of killer whales. Okay, so this is obviously a very weird story. One thing that sticks out to me is that all of these scientists are so adamant in their belief that a traumatized whale must have started this. A whale must have been traumatized. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, how do you come to that conclusion? Obviously, you all know damn good and well something has happened out in this area to traumatize these whales, and you're not directly saying it. Now, later on in the article, they talk about the whale. What was her name? The White Gladys. They think that this one whale, White Gladys, may have been the whale to be traumatized. And I feel like they know more than what they're letting on. But there's so many things about this story that sound strange to me. For instance, how it's not just like one-off situations. It seems like all the whales in this area are doing it. They're even traveling in packs and like systematically destroying these boats. I find it odd that they destroy the boat and then they kind of go about their day. Unless you know that they're not necessarily like after the people on board or anything, it seems like they really want to stop these boats from, I guess, being used in their area. And it seems like they're kind of smart enough because they say that they're going after sailboats. That makes me believe that they're smart enough to know, like, hey, we can't take down certain type of boats, but sailboats are free game. We can definitely destroy those. So they're smart enough to target the type of boats that they can take out. You know, these whales aren't going to take out a cruise liner. They're probably not going to take out your average, maybe a speedboat or something like that. So they're going after the sailboats. And the fact that they're taking out the rudders and then ramming them, that lets you know how smart they are. Like, they're smarter than, we're just going to swim into the side of this boat. No, they're destroying the key piece of the boat that makes it go. So that's it. It's weird. It's weird. But, when looking into why are whales acting so weird lately, because this is not the only story, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, in this area we have whales attacking boats, but in other areas we're having a lot of mysterious deaths, like whales washing up ashore, and people have been trying to get to the bottom of what is happening for a while. Now, one theory that the government tries to shut down, one theory is that it has to do with these wind farms. I'm not sure how many of you all know this, but there are literally what you would call wind farms now in the ocean, with like wind turbines that are used for energy, clean energy, to save our environment. To save our environment, we must take a bunch of wind turbines and smack them in the middle of the ocean where it disrupts aquatic life. That's what they've decided to do. Ever since they've been doing this, whales have been dying at an alarming rate. They're acting different. Some of them, like in this case, they're acting more aggressive. And I'm not here to tell you, oh, the wind turbines are behind the Great Whale Rebellion. But I think it's one of the explanations as to why, maybe not even in this area, but in some areas you're seeing dead whales pop up. Or you're hearing stories about whales coming closer inland, or whales acting out of character, or sea life in general. A lot of these animals, they deal with like freaking sonic waves and you name it. You know, I'm not a zoologist or a marine biologist or anything, but I do know that whales and dolphins, they kind of have a built-in sonar or echolocation, and they use sound waves and stuff like that to communicate and get around and to view the world in their own little way. And I would imagine that if you take a bunch of wind turbines and put them in the middle of the ocean, it could cause vibrations and stuff to go throughout the water that could actually mess these animals up, which would explain why some of them are more aggressive. Maybe it would explain why they're popping up in areas where they usually wouldn't, why some animals are coming closer to shore, and you name it. So there's a lot of things out here that I believe that has been done recently in the name of climate justice and for climate change, when in reality it's hurting our wildlife. I'm not sure if that's the case here, but I think it's one of the theories that I have at the very least. I mean, it damn sure sounds better than, oh, whales are just tired of humans and they're ready to kill us. And maybe that's the case, because that's how it looks. You know, I was going to title this video, When Freeing Willie Goes Wrong. I really wanted to title the video that, but I don't know if people will really understand what I'm getting at on YouTube. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Do you plan on going to the beach or in the water anytime soon? How will you prepare for the great war with whales? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.